I'm Rich Conti,
And I'm Peter Poliglov.
and we are your recurring hosts for the Careers in Esports webinar series.
Rich, how awesome is this photo of us from last year?
I love that photo. That is such a great photo, and that was a very exciting time. That was taken at the HyperX, a 30,000 square foot arena built to host esports competitions in the city of Las Vegas.
The USAEL team is actually returning to the HyperX Arena next weekend, February 4th, to host GamerFest, an event full of esports tournaments, appearances from NFL players, renowned shoutcasters, prizes, and fun. If you're in Vegas, you're not going to want to miss it.
I really can't wait. That's going to be a lot of fun, but let us get back to the topic at hand for today.
Hear you loud and clear, Rich. To preface today's webinar, I wanted to share a little bit of background about the USAEL and how it was created. The United States Academic Esports League, or USAEL for short, was formed when Mastery Coding, experts in creating cutting-edge curriculum, and Rallycry, esports veterans with decades of experience building communities, came together to offer an unparalleled experience for students and staff. The USAEL believes in better futures through gaming and seeks to empower educators with the best tools to create those futures for young people everywhere. Competitions that engage, curriculum that inspires, and careers that empower. As you can tell, the United States Academic Esports League is designed, led, and managed by the best. And to prove that to you, today we are actually going to introduce and become acquainted with some of our team members that are working behind the scenes. And in no particular order, it is my privilege to introduce Martin So, Stephen Cooper, Sabrina Spadafito, and Rich Conti. Thank you for being here, guys.
Absolutely. Pleasure
My
to be
pleasure.
here.
And we'll actually jump right into our first question. We'll go one at a time, starting with you, Rich. What is your job at the USAEL, and what does your role entail?
Sure, yeah. I gotta say, Peter, it feels a little bit funny being on the other side of questions this time around. But hello, everyone. My name is Rich Conti, VP of Academic Esports here at Mastery Coding. And my role, I wear a lot of different hats, but my primary role is to build really awesome academic esports curriculum for our students and to run managed programs. If anybody doesn't know, in addition to selling curriculum to schools for facilitators on campus to run their own programs, academic programs, we also do managed programs as well, where we can help provide coaches to different schools. So there's a lot involved with our managed programs, and there's a lot of fun that happens in those programs as well.
Thank you, Rich. Sounds like you have your hands full. We'll rotate over to Sabrina. Sabrina, what is your job at the USAEL and what does your role entail?
Hi, Peter. Super excited to be here. So my role is Vice President of Academic Services for Mastery Coding. But with the USAEL, I handle all of the communication onboarding for the academic and curriculum side for all of our partner schools that we are very fortunate to work with.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Sabrina. Rotating over to Stephen. Stephen, what is your job at the USAL and what does your role entail?
Yeah. Hey, everyone. My name's Stephen Cooper, or just Cooper if you've seen me in emails. My job is the League Ops Manager for USAEL. And when it comes to what I do on the day-to-day, it's anything to do with competitions. So onboarding schools to make sure that they're competition ready, building those competition pages so that your students can compete, and make sure that the formats are fun and engaging for all of you out there.
Thank you, Stephen. Making the wheels turn behind the scenes. Rotating over to Martin. Martin, what is your job at the USAL and what does your role entail?
Thanks, Peter. Yep. So, hey, everyone, I'm Martin. I'm the operations producer for USAEL. My job is essentially to lead all of our project management efforts, working with all the amazing, talented individuals on this team to make sure everything is on track and hitting our deadlines.
Very cool. Very cool. A very diverse representation of various career fields in the world of esports. And with that, we'll transition to our next question. We're going to ask our speakers today, what career decisions led you to working in esports and the USAEL. We actually pulled some related images from each one of your histories, but we'll start with Rich again.
Sure, yeah. So, in terms of career decisions, I've always been a lover of video games, and so from really early on, I knew that I really wanted to do something in the realm of the games industry. And so, I went to school for game development and game design. But even in high school, I was putting my PlayStation in my backpack and carting CRT televisions down the hallway to run a gaming club at my high school. But when I started going for game design in college, a little game called Overwatch came out, and I really, really liked that game. So there's actually a logo on here, TESPA. I put together a team to compete in TESPA at my college, and we were pretty successful. And that sort of really entrenched me in the world of esports, right? Before then, I was more gaming. I was gaming competitively, but not in an esports sense, right? It was more about a passion, and again, that wanting to know how they really work from the back end in the design sense. And actually, on the right there is one of levels that I built. I did a lot of level design because I really enjoyed that element of game development. But after I graduated, I was looking for jobs, and I found one. This was about 4 or 5 years ago here at Mastery Coding, looking for curriculum developers. And they were creating really awesome courses in teaching students how to code through game development. And so it was a perfect fit. And I loved building that curriculum. But I had the idea, hey, we're getting students into coding through game development. Maybe we can get them into game development through gaming itself, because that's, again, the road that I took. And that's what kind of spawned what we now call the gamer to maker pathway, where we find students and really awaken their passion and curiosity for how these games are working behind the scenes, and all the other, various orbital careers that are related to esports, so that students might be able to find something for themselves that they are passionate to work in as well. So that's really a big driver for me, is I'm passionate about games, so I want to help other gamers find a career that they're passionate about as well.
Thank you, Rich. I still remember Richie's first day in the office. He came in with a large box of Krispy Kreme donuts. And at that very moment, I knew Rich and I were going to get along just fine. We'll rotate over to Sabrina. Sabrina, how did you kind of come to working directly with the USAEL and working with esports and coaches and educators all over the country?
Love this question because I, unlike most of my colleagues on the screen, have no background in esports or computer science. I lived in the educational space, both in the higher education space and the K through 12 space for now. I just looked at the date for well over 15 years. So it's kind of giving me a little bit of shock to realize it's been that long. But I started out in higher education in student activities and understood that there were, collegiate esport clubs, but didn't really think too much of it. Just I knew that students participating in organizations and organized sports were a reason for retention. So that was always a big thing for me. Then when I transitioned into the K through 12 space, I understood that computer science was kind of going to be the future of where we can look towards educational equity. It really does allow students to level the playing field, and allow students that would, for no other reason, feel a sense of community, feel that. So then in joining the Mastery Coding team to kind of further that, and learning, thanks to my amazing colleagues, Richie and Peter, and the rest of our team, Stephen and Martin, who help explain all of the intricacies of esports to me. And they don't make fun of me because I play like Spyro and Duck Hunt still. So I appreciate you guys for loving me through it. But so I definitely did not take the traditional esports player or gamer pathway. So my educational degree is in educational leadership. So by taking my knowledge of the educational space and bringing it to the esports world, we're able to help students and help schools really kind of bring these programs to their sites.
Thank you for sharing, Sabrina. And this is just another great example of education coming to esports. But we'll rotate over to Coop. So Coop, what has your career and path kind of been like, and how did that lead to you working in the USAEL and esports in general?
Yeah, so my career path is always fun to look back on over the 10 years in the industry. It's hard to remember everything, but I started very young. I was in middle school, actually, around 10 to 14 years old, somewhere around there, and was creating tournaments actually for other friends of mine within my local town. And I've always been a gamer, and I knew that it was something I wanted to transition into a career one day. And by running those tournaments, I started kind of growing a community within my local town and gaining friends with people that I didn't even know liked me, right? You know, we had this common passion of video games and playing together, and it really helped build me up into someone who I am today. Um, I kind of took that passion internationally and across the globe by traveling to different events and freelancing my work out in creating tournaments for other programs and other esports competitions. And that eventually landed me a position at High Risk Studios, where I became their esports manager for 6 years, developing competitions for one of the top leading esports out there. Within the past couple of years, I've really wanted to get deeper involved into creative programs and understanding how esports can apply to not just the top tier gamer, but really anyone at any level. And I think that that is a big portion of the academic space that is really important with what we're doing at USAEL, which is how do we give esports and this gaming experience to everyone at every level? So that's really what's interested me over the last year, and why a big reason as to why I've joined USAEL in this mission, and only hope to continue to grow that passion into something better.
Absolutely, Coop. Thank you for sharing that. From humble beginnings in middle school to working with the biggest international teams in esports, that's a really cool story. And last but not least, rotating over to Martin. Martin, what has your path been like, and how did you end up working in the USAL and with esports in general?
Yep, absolutely. So my career decisions that led me to esports and working with the USL is actually somewhat similar to Richie. Start off in collegiate through the TESPA program at Carleton University in Ottawa, Canada. First year freshman, I played competitive Overwatch for the school. By second year, I realized I wasn't too good at it. Eventually got cut from the team, but then I still wanted to be involved with just with the community, and then eventually joined the leadership team where I ran the club from 2017 to 2020. How I transitioned that to my career was essentially as I was studying computer science, I realized that like being able to create these opportunities for students, it was just really something I really enjoyed. And then especially now applying it to the USA, I wanted to sort of help the younger generation experience those the opportunities that I had through game, because growing up when I was growing up in high school, the only thing related to game was just becoming a game dev or becoming a pro player, which obviously pro player was off the question. And then a game dev was sort of something I was looking into, but ultimately I just finished my computer science degree. So yeah, definitely a lot of parallels between myself and Richie in terms of our pathways.
Absolutely, and I think we see a lot of those parallels that you mentioned, specifically when it comes to esports and gaming and game design or software design. So thank you for sharing, Martin. And we're actually going to jump into our last question, maybe the more exciting question. And for this one, I'm not going to call on anyone individually, so just feel free to pitch in, and feel free to just speak if you have something cool to share. We're basically asking what is something exciting that you are currently working on for the USAEL? So feel free to jump in, guys.
Sure, I can go first. I'm up. The first item here that we see is gamer math, and this is something that I'm very, very passionate and excited about for more people to get their hands on. Last year, we released a gamer math for middle school grades, and this year we're releasing a newer iteration of gamer math for younger students, aligned to lower standards. In case anyone is unfamiliar with gamer math, this is a really cool course where we teach math standards through meaningful game connections, right? So we are really taking some of the math that's under the hood of the most popular esports and making it more forefront for the students, showing them that, hey, this math that you're learning is not only applicable, but you might already be using it in the games that you're playing, which is really cool and also a really neat way, I think, for the students to be able to connect their academics again with something that they're passionate about. So gamer math is really cool, and if anyone's interested, I definitely recommend looking it up on our website.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rich. If you haven't already, go check out Gamer Math. It really, really is some awesome stuff that Rich is working on. Anybody want to jump in next?
Yeah, I'd love to talk about the spring season. So we're finally here. All the onboardings and emails that we've sent out is finally leading to this moment of the competition getting ready to start. We are just 2 weeks away from both Rocket League and Super Smash Brothers competitions beginning. I know that all of you teachers, administrators, schools, districts, the students have all put in this hard work over the course of, for some of you, the past year, and for others, you've been itching to get started because you've had the equipment ready to go since you came into USAEL. So we are just as excited as you are to get started. For those who don't know, we offer 2 different leagues within USAEL, one being Rocket League and one being Super Smash Brothers, as well as additional community titles that we play, such as Fortnite, Lego Fortnite, Overwatch, etc. So it should be a really fun time. We're excited for everyone to compete over these next couple of months and put an end to the first year of USAEL with a high point.
Definitely kicking off the year strong. Can't wait to see schools from all over the nation compete against each other. Thank you, Coop.
Cool. I'm more than happy to chime in on everything exciting that's coming for GamerFest. Peter might have mentioned it earlier in the call, but essentially GamerFest is a one-day event that's taking place at the HyperX Arena in Las Vegas. There's a lot of different tournaments happening, most notably the Madden High School Championship, which features the schools from Clark County, which is local to Las Vegas, as well as some schools situated across the East Coast. We'll also have a lot of different fighting game tournaments for Tekken 8, Guilty Gear Strives, and Street Fighter 6. Essentially just like a massive kickoff to kick off the festivities for Super Bowl week, which is taking place also in Las Vegas. So if you're also in the area, feel free to stop by on February 4th and check us out.
Thank you, Martin. If you didn't know, now you know. February 4th, Las Vegas, HyperX Arena, save the date. I'm going to be driving in from Los Angeles just for the tremendous occasion. But at this point, I actually want to thank our team that joined in. I want to thank anyone who was a viewer, whether watching our live stream or in attendance. Hopefully, this gave you an opportunity to meet some of the people behind the scenes, making the USAEL what it is today. So big thank you to everybody on the call. Big thank you to everybody watching, all of our schools, educators, administrators. Hope you have a great rest of your day and see you next time. Bye-bye.